late, and you can blame Winston for that because he was just loving the sunshine outside and didn't want to come in. But here's the thing, it was such a great reminder of today's topic, which is, I'm pouring water, obviously, right? Today's topic is, how do you live from gratitude? How do you incorporate gratitude into your daily life, and why you need to do that, and well, you don't need to do anything, but why it's so incredibly important and valuable if it's not something that comes really naturally for you, and how to actually do it. So those of you who know me know that I live in a state of ongoing gratitude and faith of the dots are connecting, right? 2020, hindsight is 2020. And so I just finally decided to believe in my life that I'm just going to assume that whatever's happening, the dots are connecting moving forward. And I think gratitude has a big piece of that, is a big reason. So I want to talk about why it's really important, what it looks like to have a gratitude practice integrated into your life. And then we'll talk about how you can incorporate a daily practice, but that important piece is, how do you integrate it into your being? Because I believe that is the opportunity to just feel free. It helps your mental health, your positivity, your optimism. And it's really tough to be grateful and pessimistic at the same time. So, and by the way, not to confuse the power of positive thinking. So this is an interesting thing because I love positive thinking, all of that. That's not what gratitude is. Gratitude is different. Gratitude is being grateful, being thankful for whatever is happening around you, even in the worst times. And I think sometimes the power of positive thinking can go to the next level of this assumption that we're going to talk magic, fairies, unicorns, and rainbows, and dismiss reality. So what I'm talking about when I'm talking about a gratitude practice being developed is being thankful for whatever the reality is, even when it's crap. All right? Because we can always find something really good. So why? I started Googling. I thought, I'll figure out what are the pieces of the puzzle. By the way, if you want to add anything in here, I've got the comments pulled up, which is great on LinkedIn. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to Facebook today, and I'm going to watch for you in real time, because I don't end up looking for the comments until after. All right, Doug Vincent, you're here. So super excited to have you back on watching. So thank you for that. And we're good. Okay. So let's talk gratitude. So I did do a Google. You'd be very proud of me. Those of you who have caught all of these LinkedIn or the lockdown lift ups know that I don't do a lot of prep for this, including on our wild card topic Friday, which I've decided is going to become a thing. FYI, I just fan out a book and find an answer. But when I did it, it was just I think when you live gratitude, you forget how important it is, but I thought this is really cool. So opens the door to more relationships is one of the things it says. Okay. Yes, because people like to be around people who appreciate them. Of course, that makes sense, but it improves your physical health. So there's actually research that shows how it can, here, let me pull this up so I can read a little bit of this. Grateful people experience fewer aches and pains, and they report feeling healthier than other people. Interesting. Imagine how much pain I would have in my physical being, given, if you know my story about having pain, if I weren't practicing gratitude every day. Interesting to consider. Improves your psychological health. Well, this is a no-brainer to me. Of course it is. It says reduces a multitude of toxic emotions, ranging from envy and resentment to frustration and regret. Link between gratitude and overall well-being. Okay, so this is so worth it, right? Reduces aggression. People sleep better, probably because I'm guessing that's because you're not worrying as much, I think, with gratitude. Improves self-esteem. and increases your mental strength. So I love that. I mean, there are other things, but I think that is a good enough reason to actually focus our efforts on figuring out, how do I become more grateful? So that's our why. And now how do you start with a daily practice? And I think a daily practice is a perfect way to start. And I am going to recommend the 5-minute journal is a great way to do it. Or there are tons of gratitude type books. Okay, hold on. I see like product influencers do things like that. They just hold it over the light. So look at me becoming all great. So there's a really cool journal that actually can help you. 3 things I'm grateful for, dreams I'm working towards. So this is a really neat one that I had started at one point, and I didn't keep it up, but I'm not concerned, because every tool, you don't have to get to the back of the book. Each tool will give us another inch, another integration into our lives. That's great. Jake, I love this. You're absolutely right. It's real tough to be grateful sometimes when times are tough, and if you're dealing with life's challenges that have been dealt to you. 100%. So we're going to talk about exactly that and this whole concept of silver lining thinking. But when times are so tough, and I know this might even sound weird to say out loud, but I lost my dad, right? For those of you who know my story, a long time ago now, 16 years. But there was a point as I started this gratitude practice where I was so angry and so in the grief process with my dad. And I started to look, and again, this might sound really hard to take, I started to look for the things I was grateful for in his passing. So, an incredible relationship with my mom that shifted after my dad died, because my dad and I were really close. My mom and I were really close, but in a different way. And so mom and I our relationship really soared after dad passed, right? The perspective that my dad offered, thinking back on the memories and the incredible experiences and how blessed I was to have a great father who left me with a great, I think, I was going to say work ethic. I don't know if, sure, I have a great work ethic, but I don't think that's what he gave me. He gave me, I don't know, dad gave me a lot of wonderful things, right? But a really great, secure experience as a father figure. And looking for those things in the worst times is critical and even more important. So Jake, thanks for saying that. Totally makes sense. Right? And I got to tell you, I've had times this year, I had a really great part of the year, and I had a year where I didn't have anything coming in, right? There was no business in the fall, and I don't mind sharing that because, it's just a reality. I think people see me live and they're like, oh my God, things are rocking. But I know that there are so many business owners who aren't they don't have the regular revenue streams. And still I was practicing gratitude and going, oh my God, but I still have a home, and some people, they don't still have a home, but I still have my health, right? And I still have, and finding those pieces that are still a part of it. And sometimes the gratitude that I have been able to find is when I walk out the door and I've got my little Winston who's in the back for you. Oh, you know what? Let's move this AllisonGraham.co. Who knew he was actually being covered? It's not fair. But walking out and looking at a leaf and going, thank you for growing, and just being mesmerized by it. We have to choose to see. Okay, so I got a little off track there, but I hope that helps. And thanks, Jake. And now Greg has offered a really good thought. Okay, a simple act of altering our inner voice to say, I get to do, can really change the dialogue. Love it. Talking about positivity. Even when we don't feel particularly positive about things we're unable to control, although we can control our reaction to it, it is always within our power to be a positive rather than negative influence on those around us. Absolutely. I completely agree with you. And that's part of the process though, right? So if we have a daily gratitude practice, if we start integrating it into our being, then everything we go through, all the different times when we're facing a really negative situation, it will just be so ingrained that it becomes automatic that you see it. I was talking with a friend of mine. I don't know. Let me think about if I can tell this story or not. But Doug Vincent has said, when I see the despair of less fortunate people who are struggling in life, I give thanks and feel blessed. Absolutely. Like here we are, we're on our computers or our mobile phones being able to watch the lockdown lift up, and we have time to do this, right? So maybe that's the piece that has the gratitude, that you can, have the freedom to spend an afternoon watching, or 15, 20 minutes watching somebody talk about gratitude. That's what you could maybe be grateful about this morning. So let's talk about the how. When I started a gratitude practice, this is what I started with. It's called the 5-minute journal. I've been through several of them. Deb Crow actually sent me one when we first met. Hi, Deb Crow, if you're watching. And it begins, I'll just show you the raw feed, but it starts with, I am grateful for, right? So if every day, take 5 minutes and just write that piece out, right? And it goes on to say, what would make today great? Daily affirmations, I am. And then you go to the night and you say 3 things that happened today. Amazing things. And could I have made today better, right? Like, because it's not about, like I said, like just sugarcoating the existence of the world. But if you start this every morning, and you don't need the journal, by the way. I mean, I highly recommend the journal, right? And you just like work through it, and it doesn't have to be neat. Like, look how messy that is, right? Like, I tried to read something before when I was pulling out, and honestly, I was like, I don't know what I said, but it seemed to help. So I think that's a great way to start your gratitude practice. 5-minute commitment a day, morning or night or both, or whenever you want. Tammy, awesome to have you here. Hello, hello, hello. If you're wondering where I'm getting the comments from, those are the people who are watching on LinkedIn. And if you're on Facebook watching, I'm sorry, I don't know how to bring up comments from there. So that's why. Okay, so daily practice, 5 minutes, that's where we start, because that will start to seep into your world. And the next way to integrate gratitude into your life is this. Choose a trigger. So whatever that trigger is, whether it's when you start cooking your dinner, when you walk out the door with Winston, like he was out, he had to go out for his afternoon pee, and I go out when it's nice weather, my stocking feet, and I stand out in the grass and just kind of look up and go, oh, and just take a moment to feel the feels and the gratitude, and find the, and even when things are totally tough, yes, it's harder. Like Jake said that earlier. And that's when we rely on things that are just miracles of nature even. That I pull a lot from that, right? Or just quieting and listening. One of the things I do, I don't know, this is just a new thing, but I can hear, if I get really quiet, even if there's stuff going on around me, you can hear the pulsating of the heartbeat in your ear, if you've ever focused on that. So focusing on that and going, oh my God, like what is it that's making my heart beat? Like fascinating. And thank God it's still going, right? And that's so important. So we've got the integrating, we've got our 5 minutes commitment to start. Then we find a trigger. So walking outdoors, turning on your car, whatever it is, sitting down at your desk, a trigger that every time you do that action, you're going to force yourself to look around you or think of something to find that you feel grateful for. Okay? And then that just builds. So we got one trigger, then we do another trigger, then we do another trigger, then we do another trigger. And as those triggers build, you'll start to notice that it becomes automatic. It becomes like when times are tough, you go, okay, what is the silver lining here? What is it that I can find in this shit show of awfulness, right? Like even, when it was slow for me in the fall and I was trying to figure out, okay, what do I do? How do I fix this? Because I couldn't go out and sell like I normally would. I wasn't on the road to meet new prospects, and some big things that I thought were going to happen didn't happen. And it was like, I don't know. But then I would be like, okay, what can I be grateful for? Well, the times when I've, already helped somebody get through this. I'd go back and I'd look for emails from people who had been in my program and really resonated with them, and they, did this or achieved this because of the concept that we talked about. I would look for the physical being, right? Like I would find, like, there's so many things to be grateful for. I mean, my goodness, I could probably look up, what did I say? Things. And sometimes it's funny things. Oh, look, I said highlights of the week. My peeps. A specific crew of peeps. So fun. 3 things I'm grateful for. Oh, yeah, I'm not going to read those out loud, but that's very deep. It was very deep. Of course, now I'm going to be shy. Now? Well, because it is my personal journal. I guess that's fine. Here's one. Grateful for a feeling of peace. So that's a great thing to be yeah. Friends. I mean, the typical things. Being invited to X dinner. Yeah, impacting a certain person's life. Yeah, anyway, you know what? It doesn't have to be fancy. It's just little things. I'm grateful for, somebody's loaned me this microphone. I haven't returned it yet. I got to do that. But like whenever I look at the microphone, I make a habit of going, gosh, how grateful am I that person was kind enough to bring that over to my house when I had a speech and my microphone failed. And now I need to return it, by the way. I'm going to get a new one. But yeah, it's just integrating it. Yeah. Anybody else want to share some ideas on this? Jake, I hope that is helpful in terms of how to do it. So you start with the 5 minutes, the little journaling. Like I said, you don't need the official journal, but just start with, and if you did, I mean, these are way overpriced, something like this. So, but a pen and paper, like a lot of my journaling is just done on scraps of paper now. And not just like even a Post-it note, right? So if you're feeling off, if you're feeling stressed, if you're not in that good, I got this kind of mode, grab a piece of paper, blank, and just start saying, I am grateful for, and write out 5 things. And maybe it feels like there's no one in your life to be grateful for, but there's somebody. Everybody's got somebody. Everybody's got somebody. Everybody's got something. And if it's not them, it's you. Right? Maybe you're grateful for your talent. Maybe you're grateful for thank you, Jake. That's awesome. Maybe you're grateful for your past success because you know that is a yellow brick road that you can follow again, although it'll be a new road because maybe what you did before is no longer there. But let's focus in on your talents and be grateful for those. Grateful for your physical being and your critical thinking. Grateful for the network. I mean, everybody I know who's on this call right now has, I can't see all of you, but I know everybody who's here has an incredible network. I mean, heck, I'm part of it. There are so many people in your lives. There's not one person here that if you didn't reach out to people for help, wouldn't communicate and respond in a positive way, right? Like we all are, like, this is, what again, grateful, like these are first world problems in some cases, right? Like if our security is taken care of, there's, what a blessing. My heart breaks for people who are, over in places like India right now that's really suffering. I reached out to my former, what do you call her? Intern. Yeah. I don't know. She was a team member, but intern. And her family is over in India. And I'm like, Arpita, how are you? Are you okay? And I'm so grateful to be in her life. I hope I can be a great resource for her. I'm so grateful for the work that she did. Like we just got to pull until everything in your life is, you just see it. You're like, that's beautiful. That's mesmerizing. That's cool. I'm going to latch on to this positive. You know, Jake, I know you. I know you have a ton of talent. I don't know what's going on in your life, because a couple times you've said on in the comments, like, you know, things are tough, or maybe you've been through a tough time and you've come out of that. But I know you. You're resourceful. You're well connected. You have huge potential and many, many avenues available to you. So I would just write that down. And if you have to remind yourself of that every morning before you get started, or every day, then go for it. Write that down. Put that in the book if you use these. Oh, and another book that was recommended to me in my call right before I came online is a book called Leading with Gratitude. Adrian, let me see who this is. Adrian Gostick and Chester Elton. So apparently a very good book on gratitude, but leading from a place of gratitude. And I think where this can really help us is if you're leading a team, or self-leading yourself, or you are, like, you know, have your family with you, right? And people are getting pessimistic, just ask the question, what's the potential good that can come out of this? What's something that you can be grateful for in the midst of this? And that will just seep into your life. At least I hope it will, because I know it's a lot easier to get through the tough times when we see the beauty in those other little pieces. Anyway, I think I've gone on long enough for the lockdown lift up. Who knows what tomorrow's topic is going to be? If you have any topic ideas, please let me know. I realize 6 weeks of daily topics is a lot to choose. And I'm okay with that, because I have lots of ideas and lots of content. But sometimes I sit here and go, what am I going to talk about today? And then I thought, I'm so grateful for all the other days I had something. And I thought, great, we'll talk about gratitude. That's how it comes to be, folks. Anyway, appreciate each and every one of you. And I'm going to challenge you to go out and tell somebody how incredibly grateful you are for them in your life. Just like I'm grateful for you in my life. Have the best day.